Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. I believe it is right at the top of the hour. Let me make sure that I have everything going here. We are recording. You today have taken so much, sorry guys. One of the reasons you can't see me, like most of you guys can whenever you take part in my webinars, is because I am very ill today. I woke up not feeling well, so if I do not sound like myself or have a frog in my throat, please excuse me, but that is one of the reasons why I do not have my, my video on. But I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today for this webinar, From Behind Your Stove to CEO. I want to call your attention first to a poll. If you will look on your screen, I think you guys, yours might be at the top. There is a poll there that I actually pulled up on my screen as well. And we want to know, what type of culinary business do you own? This helps us gather data. It helps us answer your questions a little bit better. And we're just kind of curious. So if you don't mind, either right now or at some point, if you will click on that poll and take that poll for me. If you don't see your type of business that you own, just click on other for me. But I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll so that you guys can see it. There you go. If you guys will go ahead and take that for me. I'm going to keep that on the screen just for a little bit so that you guys can do that for me. One of the things that I realized about 5 years ago, after owning multiple successful culinary businesses, was that there were a lot of chefs out there that were struggling. I would get questions all the time, not necessarily from chefs that wanted to start their culinary business, but chefs that were already seasoned in culinary business. And since I've owned so many in the past, gosh, how long have I been doing this now? 15 years. I really wanted to offer something more to chefs so that they can really get the answers that they were looking for. Currently, I run a 6-figure and yes, award-winning business here in Fort Worth, Texas. We do not only boutique catering, but we do personal chef services as well. We work predominantly with special dietary needs. We work with about, honestly, we cook for about 30 to 40 families a week. Yes, I have a commercial kitchen and I have a full staff as well. And I absolutely love what I do. I could not imagine doing anything else. I've been helping, I'm going to go ahead and end this poll real quick, guys, because it doesn't look like anybody is going to answer. I'll try to put it back up later so you guys can just listen. I've been coaching and mentoring chefs for well over 10 years now. I love to help chefs build their business, but more importantly, a life that they truly love. I really love it when I hear chefs talk about that they don't work chef hours and that they finally have a life again, but yet they get to keep all the money. A couple of years ago, I wrote a best-selling book on Amazon called So You're a Chef, Now What? Mastering Your Money, Your Mindset, and Your Reputation. Part of the people that I work with in my coaching program is I work with caterers, personal and private chefs, different artisans around the country, cooking class instructors, even work with a few chefs that own restaurants as well. And another little cool thing about me is I absolutely love potatoes in any shape, form, or fashion, especially French fries. That's my weakness. Who's this webinar for? Well, culinary business owners who are tired of being stuck behind their stove and are way too busy working in their business instead of working on their business to really help them grow. So many times that we reach a point in business where our businesses are doing well and we can't figure out how to move from behind our stove to CEO of our companies to really work on our business. What are those steps? Because it seems so easy just to say, well, I'm just going to stop cooking and hire a bunch of people and really grow the business that I want to have. And it's not that easy unless you have a process. I'm going to tell you guys lots of things during this webinar, and some of you guys will actually want to take it a little bit further and ask some questions as well. So I encourage you guys to stay to the very end. That's when we're going to have a Q&A session, and you will learn as much during that Q&A session as you actually will during this webinar. That's what a lot of people have told me. So let me see. Let's talk about your very first foundation. You have to have a really strong brand. What do I mean by a strong brand? Well, there's elements of a really strong brand that we really want to make sure that you guys get today. I know that a lot of you guys are sitting there thinking, well, my website is great or my logo is great. It is so much more than that. In order to, the first step that you need and the first foundation that you need to really begin to grow your business and truly step into that CEO role is you need to have a brand so that you can then talk to and educate your staff members about not only your mission, your values, your what you stand for. They have to be able to buy in or be a part of your brand in order to work for you. One of the major components of a strong brand is something called competitive awareness. And we're not going to go into a ton of details about this, but I just want to make you aware. There's a competitive analysis that you can do, but you really have to know who your competitors are. Why is that so important? That is important because you want to know what sets you apart from the rest of the people that do what you do. And it could be other personal chefs, it could be other caterers, it could be other, toffee makers or sauce makers or whatever, but people buy your difference is what they actually buy. So understanding what makes you different from your competitors, and it could be something just as easily as Googling your competitors and really analyzing what's going on. Number two is your mission or your purpose. If you do not know what your mission is in your business or your purpose is for having this business, then you're going to essentially be lost. You will have to be able to communicate that to employees as well as your clients. That will have to go on your website. That will have to live in your brand. What do I mean by mission? It is way more important than just to say that I have great customer service and I do really great food and I make my clients really happy. That is not it at all. What is your mission for this business? Our mission is to heal people through food. That is why people come to us. That is our purpose. That's what sets us apart. So I'd really encourage you as you think about growing and moving forward, what makes you different? What sets you apart? What's your statement, who cares statement of why people should buy from you? Consistency is super important in your brand. Let me give you examples of consistency. So in other words, are you using the same logo with the same colors and the same font and the same headshot in all of your social media, on all of your chef coats, on all of your logoed or embroidered apparel, on your business letterhead? Do you look consistent across the board no matter where people are going to find you? So one of the elements of growing and really stepping into that CEO role is how consistent are you in your community, and how consistent are you when people come back and look at you, to make sure that everything is congruent, because a confused mind will say no. Now, you guys are probably thinking to yourself, it's not all that important. It is all that important. Something as simple as consistency is huge in the mind of your consumer. Flexibility. Flexibility is one of those things that in your brand, as well as a business owner, that you have to either develop, or maybe you already are super flexible. Now, I just talked about consistency. Now I'm talking about being flexible. So many things will come at you that you have to be willing to You have to be willing to pivot on a dime and then change. We're going to talk about that later on. You have to be willing to start down one path and then realize it's not the best path for you. And so you have to be able to pivot. There aren't any mistakes in business. There's only pivot points that you'll actually learn from. And once I realized that, that was huge. You also have to be flexible, since we're talking about brand, and really opening yourself up to new opportunities, but then again, only that fit your brand very well. If you are a high-end boutique caterer and somebody asks you to do something for, lunch for $12, and that does not fit not only your mission but your brand, then you have to be willing to say no, even though it is money, because you will only get more of those people asking you to do something that is against your brand. We spoke a little bit about an amazing logo. If you look at your logo and it looks out of date, or it's fuzzy, or it doesn't represent you well anymore, then it's time to change it, and that's all part of your brand. A good logo should last you about 3 to 5 years. If your logo is at least that old, then I would tell you that it's time to change it. Logos tell stories all on their own. You should be able to see someone's logo, know the name of their business, and exactly what they do. Lastly, a brand strategy. Brand strategies are super important because they are almost, the best way that I could say brand strategy is, a brand strategy is almost like a marketing strategy, in that all the ways that you are going to market your business by getting your brand out there. So for example, we talked about consistency across, all boards on social media, as well as letterhead and things like that. That is one of your strategies that will actually take place. You have to have consistent use of your brand. You have to have a strategy in place in order to constantly monitor your brand, which is your very first business foundation. Like I said, is a really strong brand. Your strategy in the way that it is implemented, the way that it is cared for, absolutely everything. Now, that's not a do or die situation to get you out from behind your stove, but it is certainly something to think about. Candace, I know you're listening in too. Candace is my marketing person, and just wanted to let you know that my Q&A has disappeared from my menu above where it was there before. So you're going to have to help me out with that just a little bit. Next, we are going to move over to the second foundation, a good website. This is part of branding, and I did include it in branding because I really wanted to hammer this point home. Here's the deal on a good website. It does not matter if you like it, and your family likes it, and your best friend likes it, and everybody in the community likes it, but if it does not convert, it is not a good website. If there is not money going into your bank account, even though you happen to love it, it is not a good website. Good websites have to be visually appealing and image driven, not full of words. People think in pictures. It has to have strong, concise copy. It has to have call to actions on every page. So what do I mean by that? Every page has to tell them to do something. Call us today, click on this link, contact us, click here, sign up for. Another great element of a great website is a opt-in pop-up. Basically, if people are coming to your website anyway, and you've done all this marketing and all this social media and all these presentations to get them to your website, then you want to be able to entice them so that you can give them something while they're there. I encourage you guys to go on chefdeb.com or my other website, Savor Culinary Services with an S.com, and wait just a few seconds and you'll see a pop-up so you can have a great example of that. But please do that after this webinar. We talked about consistency with your brand look and feel. Consistency is hugely important. Having a great website ready to go so that you can grow is so essential. I don't want you to think, well, we're just going to grow and then I'll fix my website later whenever I have the money. It does not work that way. You have to have your brand spot on, and then you also have to have part of that brand is your website. Does your website represent you well? Yes or no? Only you can answer that. And it is professionally done. No, you are not a website designer unless you were one in a previous life and you have kept up with all the search terms and SEO and meta tags and all the platforms and everything. Invest in a professionally done website. You will get paid back for that tenfold. Notice I said invest in a professionally done website. In order for you to grow, you have to have the most amount of clients coming in so that you can grow and move from behind your stove to have money to hire people. 70% of your marketing should be done through your website. If you are not getting at least 70% of your clients saying, I found you through your website, then your website is not converting. I encourage you to put Google Analytics, which is a free plugin. You can talk to your web provider about it on the back end of your site so you know exactly how well your site is doing. This is so super important as looking at your profit and loss numbers. Please make sure to look at your Google Analytics. It will tell you if your website is converting or not, how long people are staying on it, which pages that they're looking at, which pages that they are not looking at, and if you're even being ranked at all. When's the last time that you Googled your particular area of culinary plus the town that you live in to see if you're actually ranking? Foundation 3, consistent income. And this is what I call the cart before the horse. So many times my clients that I work with say, well, I'm ready to grow. And I say, great, how many clients do you have? Well, 3 or 4. I said, well, how can you be ready to grow if you only have 3 or 4 clients? Well, I figure if I grow and get bigger and, invest the money and get a commercial kitchen, that the clients will just come at that point. It doesn't happen that way. You need to be full of clients, busting at the seams that you cannot take anymore. You've grown out of your space. You can't find, there's no more cook days left. There's no more catering days left. You can't fit any more classes in. At that point is when then you are ready to move from behind your stove to CEO, because you will have to have the work already in place whenever you start hiring team members in order for them to take over the work that you've already started with your clients. Once you have consistent client flow and income levels, then you have the foundation to grow. Again, it does not work the other way around. So you need to make sure that your brand is awesome, your website is awesome, and you know it's converting. You have business coming in from your website, and then you need to make sure that you have a consistent client flow and income level in order to grow. The fourth foundation is we need to make sure your heart is in the right place. And I know a lot of you guys are saying, what does she even mean by that? Well, let's talk about that a little bit more. So many of you guys, this is your true passion. This is your be-all, end-all. You could not imagine doing anything else but this. And you built a business that you know is going to serve you forever. And you've built a business around something that you absolutely love to do. And you generally want to help people. Well, culinary of any kind is really hard. And sometimes just having a passion isn't enough. But in this case, you have to have an unfaltering, unwielding passion. Because when things get really hard, you have to rely on that I can't give up. I have to do this no matter what. So you have to make sure that your heart is in the right place. You have to make sure you're ready to take this step forward. You have to make sure that you love this business enough to continue to do it for years to come and take on even more responsibility. Because the responsibility doesn't lessen, the responsibilities just change as you grow. How do you know if you're ready to grow? I get asked this question quite a bit. Candace is telling me, to hover over the control panel. We're just trying to work out the kinks, guys. Candace, it's still not there. So that's okay. We can, as long as you guys see your question box or even your chat box, please feel free to put any questions in there that you have, and we'll make sure and get those answered. Again, how do you know if you're really ready to grow? Well, do you know your strengths and weaknesses? Because in business, everybody has them. Even in life, everybody has them. So for example, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I can get clients. I'm great at marketing. I'm great at branding. I think I'm pretty okay at being a chef. I've been doing it for 15 years. But I can tell you what I am not good at all things digital. At all. I'm not good. I can barely work my own email sometimes. I know I'm not great at that. I also would never keep my own books. Those are two of my weaknesses. I hire people for that. They do a so much better job. They take way less time than I would, and somebody else is responsible for it. But I also know my strengths too. So if you haven't honestly sat down and looked at what you're really good at and what you're not so great at, make a list. Go through your day. Write out your entire day, everything that you do for your business, and write out beside it strengths, weaknesses, like, dislike. Because one of the first people that you're going to hire is the person to not only help you with your weaknesses, but the things you do not like. Some people, when they get ready to grow from behind their stove to CEO, they will hire a admin assistant first. For some of them, it's not that. For some of them, it's a kitchen assistant. It just kind of depends on what works for your business. So if you're sick and tired of going to the grocery store every day, doing labels, doing reheating, and prepping all that stuff, but you love to cook, hire a kitchen assistant. It's just a simple, easy way to figure out what you're good at and what you're not so great at. Like I said, you know what you love and what things you're good at and what things you hate and are not so good at. You also know you need to know what tasks to delegate and when to hire employees. So, like I said, if you make that list, find your strengths and weaknesses, you'll know the first things to delegate with your first employee and which one to hire. You're going to have to hire employees because if you're not cooking or you're not cooking as much, then somebody is going to have to cook for all those clients or run your front office or do your paperwork type of thing. You streamline your processes. So do some of you guys even realize you have processes? You've probably been doing them for so long that you don't even realize they're processes anymore. But you will realize their processes as soon as you hire your very first employee, because your very first employee will look to start their day and you will want them just to read your mind. Well, here's the deal. At some point, you're going to have to streamline, first of all, figure out your processes. Is it something as simple as a catering intake form? And then how menus are planned, how you go to the bank, how you shop for the grocery store, how you make grocery lists, how you contact vendors, how you set up a cooking class, or how you make your famous toffee. Everything you do has a process, but up to this point, it's just something that you do and not something that you realize was a process until you have to teach it. One of your foundations is you need to get these processes down. And over time, you've built them. It's the way that you run your business. The easiest thing to do is go back to that list that I told you guys to make. Write down what you do every day. And beside each one of those should be a bullet point. We talked about your strengths, your weaknesses, things you like and don't like. Now go back and look at that list and find out, take each of those tasks that you do every day and write out the process in bullet points of exactly how you do it. This becomes your policy and your procedure manuals. Do I have a pretty one all written out? No, but I have some of the main tasks. Do I need it? Sure, I need it. Do I have a lot of the tasks already written out? Absolutely. Some of them are even videoed for the people that I hire. Some tasks cannot be taught. Some is just kind of on-the-job training. But I want you to think about your processes. It will save you so much more time when you have to train and retrain employees if you understand what your processes are ahead of time. There's a lot of people that can actually help you with your processes. Also, you can hire somebody to do this, or you can simply just do it yourself. But super important. Once you have your processes written out, or videoed, or bullet pointed, or at least jotted down the ones that you need to write processes for, like I said, this becomes your policy and your procedure manual. And it's easier to teach to others because you need to consistently produce the same product over and over again. Even if you're a personal chef and your menu changes every single day, you still need to document the process of how you cook, because I can guarantee you that all the chefs on the call and culinary business owners today on this call make macaroni and cheese different. Every single one of you will make it different. So you have to document the processes on how you want it done. Make sense? Let me tell you about Chef Monica. Some of you guys on the call know Chef Monica, but let me introduce you to her in case you do not. Chef Monica realized that she goes through a certain process, and she has for years for her personal chef clients. Well, the cool thing about it is Monica now is a coach for chefs who want to, and culinary business owners who want to start their personal chef business. I think right now she's just kind of concentrating on personal chefs, but in personal chef also comes catering and cooking classes and things like that. So Monica is one of the people that I coach to grow her culinary coaching business. What she realized is that she does the same thing day in and day out every day that a lot of new chefs just starting out in this industry or this field would love to know. So she documented all of her processes in video form called New Chef Essentials, and then a day in the life of a personal chef, where she actually used a GoPro. So she actually used video to document her processes and then turn that into a sellable product. But she knew in order to bring on chefs in her personal chef business so that then she could have more clients in her personal chef business and would free her up to do more coaching, that all these processes had to be streamlined. So she kind of did it in a cool way, and she made a sellable product out of it. She eventually has to write a lot of these processes down, and she's actually in the process of that. So, and it certainly has saved her a lot of time and streamlined her business. Are you comfortable finding new clients? Well, this is kind of a, well, duh statement. Well, here's the deal with that. Let me ask you this. Do you have proven strategies of finding new clients? So can you turn that water faucet on? And some of you guys are going, well, if I knew that, then I wouldn't need this webinar. Well, that's not true. Let me explain a little further. Do you know exactly where to find them? So in other words, after you've been doing your culinary business for a while, I could probably ask you, if you needed more clients today, what are your top 3 places that you could go to find them? Well, you need to think about your current clients that you have now, and where did they come from? Most of the time, they'll fit in 3 boxes. Maybe it's your website. Maybe it's a certain networking group. Maybe you got them all from Facebook ads, or maybe you have a client that has referred the majority of them to you. Well, what happens is when you get ready to grow, you're going to have to take only those top marketing strategies that you use consistently to bring in new clients, and do more of them. You're going to have to kind of blow it out of the water. So you're going to have to kind of take a look and kind of analyze, where do your clients come from? Like I said, honestly, one of them better be from your website. If it's not, then that's one of the first things you need to fix. But you need to know where to get consistent clients from. I can tell you from us, it is not only first and foremost, my website. I can tell you that probably 90% of my clients come in. We probably get, I want to say, probably 5 new requests a week. That's a little high, probably about 3 requests a week from our website for people wanting to contact us about our services. The second thing that we do is we have more luxury magazines where we will actually buy ad space in, only if there is an editorial done on us as well. Let me be clear, I do not buy ad space unless there's an editorial done on us as well. Every time that happens, we get new clients. So, are you comfortable finding new clients? Do you know where to turn on that faucet? This is just more of kind of what I was talking about, that we've really pinpointed where our ideal clients come from. I also know the third thing is I know what charity events that I need to attend, have a tasting station at, and give a donation away, such as a personal chef service. I have one that I give away, well, several that I give away a month of personal chef services, which is a little bit crazy for some of you guys to think about, but I always get that back tenfold. I just make sure that I know my target market so well that I know where they hang out. I also know exactly what zip codes my clients live in, what kind of cars they drive, where their kids go to school, and where they play sports. All of these have to do with knowing my target market and therefore knowing how to bring in those clients. So if I know who my target market is, then I can go to events, kind of like I was talking about those charity events where they all hang out. And as you grow and move from behind your stove, you're going to have to move into the face, very much the face, and almost a celebrity status, not meant to scare everyone, but become really the face of your company. You know your brand like the back of your hand. What do I mean by that? You know who you are and who your target market is. That's something that we just talked about. I know that you guys hear the term target market kind of shoved down your throat quite a bit, but it is absolutely true when it comes to marketing. You have to know exactly who your clients are. Our clients happen to be busy working parents between the ages of about 35 and 55 with kids still at home. They like to take at least one out of the country luxury vacation a year. They drive luxury cars. Their kids also go to usually private schools. They have a combined household income of at least 250,000 and above, and we have that down to zip codes and also a lot of times what their pets' names are and what sports they play. We know our target market like the back of our hand. You know, we talked about earlier what sets you apart from your competitors, what makes you different, what's your value to your community if they were going to purchase your products. You have also found your brand voice and you feel you're consistent with the marketing materials that you put out. Again, that brand voice is, if I were to draw a swoosh symbol on the screen, what would that look like? Who is that? That's Nike. If I were to put an Apple up on the screen, you would know that was Apple Computers. They have a voice. You know that Apple stands for cutting edge computers. You know that Nike stands for, athletic apparel. A lot of the times, I think they started out in tennis shoes. I'm not saying you have to be at Nike or Apple status, but what I'm saying is that in order to move from behind your stove, in order to CEO, you need to have a consistent voice, and you have to have a why people should buy you type of statement or brand identity out there. And it needs to live on the homepage of your website. Let's kind of talk about Chef Elena. Elena built a business originally around personal chef clients where her and her brother both were from Italy. And then they were also going to do these great Italian dinners. Well, Elena really wasn't living true to her brand and what she knew that she really wanted to be doing, but she really wanted to help her brother out. Um, Elena used to do life skills cooking classes for disabled um, or a different subset of the community that required special services. But she always really loved teaching these classes, and especially to kids, to the special needs community. Um, Elena also figured out that she didn't really want to do personal chef services anymore. And what she really wanted was she really wanted to blow these special needs cooking classes out of the water, but truly make it a life skills um, type of situation. And it wasn't just she was babysitting someone else's kids for entertainment purposes. Elena, about a year ago, really decided that she was going to start living according to her brand and her true identity. And up to this point, she had some luck with her business, but she was really struggling. What Elena ended up doing is she changed the entire focus of her business, and to do truly what she loved to do was teaching these cooking classes and life skills classes to the special needs community, as well as to children who really wanted to learn it. She has more clients now than she ever has once she started living according to her brand. She has clients running out of her ears. She has now stopped doing personal chefing completely, and now she is doing these really cool types of classes. It is what makes her different. She truly gets her brand and her ideal clients, and they truly get her. It's been phenomenal. She's developing curriculum now, and that's going to be for sale pretty soon, and that's going to be money while she sleeps, all around because she had the courage to step out from behind her stove, really live her brand, and really get in true alignment with everything she knew she was supposed to be doing. Here's another indicator. Can anybody identify with this? You're excited, but you're really scared all at the same time. I know. It's one of those feelings that if this doesn't make you a little bit nauseated, then you're not ready yet. But that little bit of nausea too also tells you that it is time to grow, that there is something bigger out there for you. I always tell the chefs that I work with, if it doesn't want to make you throw up, then it's not big enough. Well, I hope a lot of you guys out there are seriously nauseated. You know, it's also that little voice that keeps you up at night. It's those little subtle hints that you see throughout your day. It's those little voices. It's really those little things that start to pile up. It's a thought process to begin with, and then a few years go by and you really feel like that the universe is screaming at you in every capacity and every turn to get this done. That is how you know it is time to jump off. What about making a profit? Well, some of you guys are sitting there saying, well, why are you even doing this if I'm not making a profit? Why would I keep doing this? There's a whole lot of you guys sitting out there that are saying, well, I just love what I do and my bills get paid, so I have no idea if I'm making a profit or not. Well, if you're making a profit, then you're ready to grow, then you have a full client load, you're busting at the seams. You also need a good handle on what your P&L statement says, and you look at it consistently. If you haven't been looking at your profit and loss statement consistently, I would encourage you to start doing that, because it will truly tell you where your money is going, and you will need to have that awareness so that you know where to spend your money and where not to spend your money. Do you know your numbers? Do you know what your overhead costs are, what your food costs are? Have you been paying yourself and how much? If you already have employees, do you know what your employee costs are? Do you know how much your credit card fees are? Do you know how much your cell phone is? There's so many things that you need to look at and be aware of. Now, not everybody knows how to read a profit and loss. I am no expert on it. I can only read highlights. My accountant helps me out quite a bit, but still, you need to at least get in the habit of looking at it because it will be your roadmap. Here's one of the biggest questions. Are you willing to invest? And some of you guys are sitting there thinking, invest in what? If I'm going to grow, why do I need money for that? And if I grow, then I'll have money to invest. Well, here's the deal. You have to have, in order to grow, because it takes money to grow, because we've talked about building a better brand, we've talked about looking at your profit and loss statement, which might involve a bookkeeper. We've talked about making sure your website is awesome. We've talked about making sure your logo is awesome. We've talked about taking time out and possibly hiring someone to put processes in place. All of that takes money. And you need to have at least 90 days of working capital before that money starts being replaced. Because once you decide to grow, move from behind your stove to CEO, then what happens is you will have a lot of money leaving before a lot of money comes back in. Yes, you will get that money tenfold, but you have to have that money that is able to leave you in order to still run the business for about 90 days. Do you know where this money is going to come from? Do you have a rich uncle? You're going to get a loan? You going to use an empty credit card, or do you have the money to invest yourself? Like I said, you're going to need money for a website. You're going to need money to pay employees and get them trained. While clients are coming in, you're still going to have to take the time to train employees. For a while, you may have more employees than you have clients coming in because you're waiting to grow. Don't let that scare you. It will happen very quickly for you, but it is still something to think about. So, one of the things that people don't think about when they go into business and then when they're ready to grow is, what is the end result for you? What is your big picture vision? So in other words, do you want to live in Italy, lay on the beach somewhere, have a butler? Do you want to go live in the mountains? Do you want to run your business forever? What is that for you? You need to have your big picture vision so you know what to grow into. Because you need to understand that once you start a business and then you move from behind your stove to CEO, that's just one step in getting you to the end result. So once you become the CEO of your company, what are you working for? What is your end result? How do you want your business to end up? So kind of your exit strategy, or when you go to sell your business, what services will you have at that time? Where will you live? How much money will you be making? How many employees will you have? What will your business look like? You need to know what you want your sales number to be, even next year or in 5 years from now, or maybe you plan on growing it but selling it in 2 years. You still need to know what you want from that. When you do grow, you're going to get pulled in various directions. You're going to want to go down so many rabbit holes, chase shiny pennies, chase squirrels, all the things that keeps entrepreneurs up at night. Well, here's the deal. Unless you have a path and know the end result, you're going to chase those rabbits a lot. And by chasing those rabbits, you're not going to get to your end result. So, what are the steps to transition from behind your stove to CEO? You need to be willing to invest the money and put in the work into whatever it takes you to achieve your big picture vision. So it's an investment. You have to have the right mindset, and you have to know what your end result is. You need to create processes and procedures in some sort of a manual or bullet point form or videos or something to make sure that you have efficient systems in place so that you can teach other people how to help you run your company. You need to build an amazing team that helps you to understand your company's mission and vision. So not only do you need to create a mission and vision, then you have to find team members that will support that. and that you can then teach your streamlined processes too. You have to act the part. Being CEO of your company means that, yes, while you're still a chef, but now you need to go out and act the part as a true CEO of your company. You need to attend business networking events and other business events where other CEOs hang out. You need to go out and position yourself in the community as the CEO and executive chef of your company. That means paying attention to what you wear, even if you just run into the grocery store. That means paying attention to your chef coat to make sure that it is ironed and taken care of each time. You need to look for business editorials that you can be a part of, and even write a book. Writing a book is like a business card on acid. It will change so many things and open so many doors for you. This is an interesting slide that we put together for you guys. What are the pros and cons of staying where you are versus moving from behind your stove to truly running your company? Well, the pros are you have more flexibility and freedom. You can set your own schedule. You can go on vacation. You can spend time with your family. And you know that you're making money while you're laying on the beach. The other pro is you can always create more revenue streams to earn more money because now you have time to do that. Maybe you've always wanted to introduce green smoothies into your business. Maybe you wanted to introduce cooking classes to your business. You now have the time to create those because you've established the foundation in one part of your business by having more employees and truly taking that 30,000 square foot view of your business. You get to choose to do the work that you love and are passionate about. So you can hire people to do the things that you don't like to do anymore. So yes, it gives you all of those things. But just like there's pros, there's also cons. You're not going to be doing less work. You're just going to be doing different work. You'll have more to manage because now there's more moving parts. Because of that, you'll have more liability and you'll have more people to manage. With employees, it becomes more liability. Somebody told me once that employees can be your greatest asset or your greatest liability. It's absolutely true. You will also have more expenses, but you will also have more income to cover those expenses as well. Michael Ward's true example of moving from behind your stove to CEO in his company. He owns a company called the Austin Artisan in Austin, Texas, and he was cooking behind his stove 10 to 12 hours a day. He had clients pouring in, and he knew that in order to really have the business that he wanted, that he was going to have to hire people to train. So he hired his first sous chef. He trained her in all of his processes, which then allowed more clients to come in, and then he hired a cook, and then his sous chef trained his cook, and it just kind of trickled down the line. Michael really wanted to do high-end catering. That is what he was about. So Michael was really able to concentrate on his high-end catering business and put people in place that will now help him with that, who he's trained. And he's very proud to call himself now a clipboard chef. So he doesn't cook that much anymore. Again, when he wants to cook, he has that option to cook anytime that he wants to. But now he truly runs his company like the CEO that he is. And his website certainly reflects that. He's now becoming a local celebrity chef in Austin, and clients continue to come in. He also understands that if he had not taken that leap to go from behind his stove into CEO, that these people would never see his face and he would not have a successful business that he has. Michael kept growing out of commercial kitchens. Like I said, he hired a sous chef, and then he took more clients, and then he moved into bigger commercial kitchens. He realized that he couldn't grow unless he stepped away from his company. Michael just told me that since he's moved into the CEO role in his company, that he's made more in a month. He makes more in a month now than he did his whole first year in business. So pretty cool to see that story. And I know that he has a baby daughter that he loves spending a lot of time with, and he has a company that he loves. He has the income that he loves, and now he gets to spend a lot of time with his family. He still gets to be a chef and have everything that he loves. Chef Andrea, tired of cooking for clients. She owns a company called The Holistic Chef. She realized that her true passion was nutritional education. She was doing some of that, but she was stuck behind her stove cooking for clients. She didn't have much time to blog and to teach clients and to really get her education around being a nutritional therapist until she stepped out from behind her stove. So what she did is she grew her business. She found other contract chefs to take clients as they came in. She kept a couple of clients that she truly adored. She kind of taught them her way of doing business and the way that she cooks for some of these special dietary needs clients. She went back to school, got her nutritional therapy certification, and then what she did is she changed the whole focus of her company to where now her company is centered around nutritional education. And part of that nutrition education, she heals people through food, is that if clients are struggling to prepare food for themselves, she sends her chefs out to them. But now her overall umbrella is nutritional education, and she is also a chef who now predominantly that is her platform, that is her brand, and personal chef became secondary, but it's a great service to add on to her nutritional education and coaching. She loves taking her dogs for a walk, and she actually lives in Silicon Valley and absolutely loves it. This is a time where, like I said, you learn as much from questions. We're going to talk about a few more things, but I really want you guys to share your questions. There should be a place there for you to do them. Candace, my marketing manager, is also on the webinar today too, so that she can send those questions to me. So if you guys have any questions about anything as we keep moving forward, please make sure and ask them. Just type them in the chat or in the questions section so that we can get those answered for you.
And Deb, we actually have some questions.
Oh, cool.
A few different questions. So Shirley is wanting to know how much she should pay a contract line chef. She says that she typically pays her chefs as subcontractors and pays them per cook's client that day. She usually pays $50 per client. She says she charges between $200 and $300 based on service frequency. And what would be your suggestion to pay them? She has one assistant chef at the time.
Okay, ask me that question again, because there's some questions I may have based upon that I may have to ask Shirley instead of you relaying it. So ask me that question again.
Okay, so she's wondering how much to pay her subcontractor line cook. So she pays them per cook clients that day. She usually pays $50 per client, and she charges between $200 to $300 based on service frequency.
Okay. And I know that Shirley has a commercial kitchen in a cool area where I think that her husband has like a record store or something in the front of it. It's a pretty cool concept the way that she does. I'm going to tell you that if you give an employee a place to work, that they're no longer a subcontractor. So if you're telling them what hours to be there and what hours to leave, and you're giving them a building, a physical building to come into, they're actually an employee and not a subcontractor. Depending upon where in the country that you live, I have had cooks, depending on with experience, I have a head cook, almost a sous chef, but more of a head cook that makes $15 an hour. She's been doing this for, I want to say 15 years. I just hired a new prep kind of line cook. I started her out at $11 an hour. I will probably increase her to 12 after about 30 days, but it's kind of hard to, it's kind of based upon what their job responsibilities are as well and what is kind of the going rate in your area. So, um, any more questions, Candace?
Yes. So Shirley has a few more questions.
Okay.
She wants to know if you have a head chef.
Okay. Yes, let me tell you the breakdown of who I have. So I have, like I said, about 30 to 40 clients a week. We have usually, I used to say 2 to 3 caterings a month. We have more like 6 caterings a month right now. I have a head chef and kitchen manager. I have I'm currently looking for a sous chef. I have a full-time head cook and sous chef. Let me go back. My head chef and kitchen manager is on salary, just so you know. The sous chef that I hire full-time will be salary as well. My really experienced cook or head cook is hourly. And then I have a new cook that I just hired that's kind of a line cook. She is hourly as well. I have a part-time dishwasher, part-time meaning usually about 25-ish hours a week. And then I have a marketing director, Candace, whose voice you're hearing right now. And I have a full-time office manager as well. So, hope that answered your question.
All right. And she also wants to know if your chefs shop in order for you.
So the head chef and kitchen manager, that is his total responsibility. He is responsible for the management and running of the kitchen, to include management of staff, as well as sourcing, procuring, and vendor relations. He does have a company credit card. He is restricted to the only certain number of vendors, approved vendors, and approved places for him to shop. And he sources all of that. He plans all the menus. I approve those menus. I'm in contact with my clients all the time. So hope that answered your question.
All right. She also wants to know, how much are you hands-on with each and every client?
So all communication comes through myself as well as my admin, Gina. As soon as I have them fill out, if it's a personal chef client, I have them fill out a food questionnaire as the very first step in process. Certainly we answer any questions on the phone, either I do or Gina does. Gina answers my phone. She is my admin. She answers my phone, and I have she's been educated in my procedures of how I want things done and how to talk to clients. And then I make the initial phone call once the food questionnaire is filled out. Talk to them about everything. I set up the service, I price it for them, and then I make sure they have my the office number as well as my email to contact me at any time. And then I am the one that sends their menus out to them every week to ask if they have questions about everything. Anything. My clients are all weekly. We don't freeze food anymore and have it in a long time. So hope that answered your question.
All right. We have several other questions. Are your clients okay with a delivery person that is not you?
So yes, I have a dedicated delivery driver. His name is Tatum. He's been working with us for a little while. That's all he does is deliver to our clients. Tatum represents our brand very, very well. I introduce a part of the onboarding process of my clients is I will let them know that who Tatum is, that he will be the person delivering, and then Tatum also gives them his cell phone number as well, so that they have a very tight connection with us. I just don't give clients the choice, just like I don't give clients a choice in their menu. That's the reason we do a thorough food questionnaire. I send my clients' menus to them about 2 days ahead of time before their cook date, and tell them this is what's coming. Please let us know if there's any changes. And I can tell you over 75% of the time there are no changes. So a little bit of a sidetrack, but I've never had a problem with it at all.
And then what kind of insurance do you have for the delivery people or person?
So I have a liability and policy through the Hartford. that not only covers from a workman's comp perspective, but it also covers my employees that work for me. I do have a delivery vehicle and I have a insurance policy on it through my State Farm agent as well that covers, of course, the vehicle and Tatum being inside of it, and then my regular liability insurance then covers Tatum as an employee.
Great. And Shirley wants to know if you're a Capricorn.
No, honey, I'm a Pisces.
Says you seem very goal driven, persistent, and you're always reaching toward a bigger goal.
That way since I was born.
And then Mark says, thank you for what you do and giving back to the chef community.
Oh, thanks, Mark. I can't wait to do bigger things with you.
And then we have a couple questions from Adana. She says, I'm inspired by all of the case studies. Do you have any tips on how to start researching the market?
Researching the market, I'm assuming for probably her competitive analysis. Maybe that's what she's saying.
Let's see if she clarifies. Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably target market or her market in her area.
Candace, I'm actually going to put you on the spot and let you answer that one.
Okay, Adonis is not the competitors, so then I'm not quite sure what she's referring to. Let's see. Yes, spot on. Okay, so she wants to know about the target market. So I think a great way to start searching for your target market is to look at the clients you already have. I'm assuming you probably already have the culinary business. And I would look at your best client, your client that has been with you for months or years, and they're just one of your favorite clients. I would look at them and look at all of their traits. What are the places they shop at? What do you think their average income level is? Where do the kids go to school? Do they have kids? What ages are they? What magazines do they read? Things like that. So I would take a look at the clients you already have. And then I would also look at your competitors and see what kind of people, follow them on social media channels and kind of see who they interact with and what events and places they're showing up to kind of give you an idea of what maybe your target market might be as well. There's also a mybestsegments.com. If you go there, you can actually search by zip code, maybe the people you've served before, and it'll give you exact descriptions about that target market who live in that zip code. It's really helpful.
Yeah, profiling your client is huge. And, sometimes you need almost a whiteboard to write down everything about your clients. You'll start to see patterns of, maybe age groups or kids or, zip codes or where you got them from or the same country club or whatever. The beauty of it is too, if you don't have any clients right now, is you get to create your target market from scratch. Figure out what you want for your ideal client and then go find them. Seriously. If you want professional athletes that only play baseball and, their wives are stay at home and they all need maybe it's the football players that need to lose weight. And we work with a lot of the San Diego Chargers. I didn't expect for them to be my target, but they are. And we do a lot of food intolerance testing on them, which has been kind of cool. In the chat section, it's actually .com. So,
and then she had another question. She said, I would like to start getting involved with high-end charity events. Deb, okay. I know you do a lot of that. I do not even know how to begin finding them.
Once you find one, they will all find you.
True.
Gosh. Because once somebody realizes you give something away for free, then they will all ask you, but it can be mutually beneficial. This has been huge, huge for my business. So here's the deal. You need to, and you can as simple as Google, pick up a high-end magazine in your area or Google charity events. Call your Chamber of Commerce, put it out on Facebook. Some of the ones we do are 65 Roses for Cystic Fibrosis, the American Heart Association, the Tarrant Area Food Bank. Meals on Wheels, Safe Haven, Children's Home, Celebrity Chef, Diabetes something, Make a Wish with Wings, A Wish with Wings. I mean, there's so many different ones that we do. The beauty of that is that you need to make sure that the price point for the tickets are at least $75 or more. Sometimes they can be 50, but you want $75 because you want people to be able to afford them, to know that they can then afford you. Makes sense so far? You want to ideally have a tasting table there so that people can come meet you and try samples of your food. On that tasting table, you need to have something called a fishbowl drawing, because if you're going to pay to have the food costs and the man hours to be there, then as they come to your table, you want to them then be able to capture their information. So give them 5 of your best recipes, or your smallest personal chef service, or something that, your top 10 things that you should never do when you cater your own party. There's all kinds of things that you can do to give away, so that then you can have a fish bowl or a bowl full of names at the end of the night, so that you can then call or do like a drip sequence or a marketing campaign to say, hey, thanks for being there. Let me tell you a little bit about my company, send you a newsletter, those types of things, so that you can take it further with them. It's always best also to have always, never, ever be in a silent auction, always in a live auction, always. Try, if at all possible, even if you're a little shy, to be on stage with your chef coat on, talking about the donation that you are giving away. You, at no other time and no other marketing that you can do, where you will get hundreds of people's all eyes on you, waiting to hear what you have to say. There is no amount of digital marketing that can do that for you. It is you on stage with all those people who are your ideal target market, listening and waited with bated breath about what you have to say. Never do a silent auction. Only out of the goodness of your heart should you do it, but just understand that you will not get clients as a result of it. So once you do one charity event, I promise people will call you to do more, but you have to have guidelines around it. It's a must.
All right, I think those are all the questions. Anissa Hopkins just wants to say thank you. She said that she's been struggling with, she lives in Jersey, and that she's going to be doing a lot of revamping, and you've helped her figure out a lot of things. So thank you so much, she said.
Awesome. Well, and what was her name, Candace?
Anissa.
Hopefully
I'm saying that right.
Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if we're totally butchering your name. That kind of leads me into one of the things that we created, because a lot of the questions that you guys are asking is the Chef Club. You guys it is a group of chefs that come together from all over the country and ask these questions, and they get their questions answered. You're no more alone behind your stove. You're no more wondering if you're doing it right or not. It's really for people just like you that want to grow their culinary business. Here's the cool thing. It's $29 a month. I tried to make this so freaking affordable for people so that they could get the help that they wanted to grow their culinary business for $29 a month. It used to be a lot more. And I just realized that I could help so many more people if we lower the price to $29 a month. Here's kind of all of the ways where, and it's kind of dipping your toe in coaching, but at a very affordable price. You'll see on your screen where it talks about monthly office hours. The first, is it Wednesday or Thursday of every month, Candace? It's the first office hours.
Yeah, first Thursday.
First Thursday of every month at 5 p.m. Central, you can take all the questions that you have about what's happening in your business and come there, and I will answer those questions for you. Other people will be on the call. You can learn from their questions, but you no longer have to be alone. You can save up all your questions If you can't make the phone call, you can email them to me. If you can't make the phone call and you have no questions, it's recorded and it lives in a membership site. In this membership site, you can grow an entire business if you never talk to me or never answer a question, because in this membership site is the recording of everything that we have done over the past 4 years. There's Q&A recordings in there. There's expert teaching recordings. We bring an expert in the culinary field in once a month. It's done live via Zoom. You get the recording. If you can't make it, you can come on and ask questions about how they grew their businesses. What challenges did they have? You can learn from these experts in the culinary field so you don't have to make the same mistakes. That's pretty priceless. The private Facebook group is what everybody loves. This group is all about super serious business owners. You're not going to get questions about how do I buy my first chef coat or necessarily what containers you use. Now, if you want to ask those questions, you certainly can, but this is for serious business owners that are looking to grow their culinary business. Every single day in your inbox, you're going to get a tip or an inspiration. So a lot of times there's worksheets, there's tips on running your culinary business. Hey, did you know about these are best marketing strategies? And you'll get one every single day, and they're paragraphs long. The other cool thing I wanted to tell you about the monthly office hours call is people come on there and said, hey, I need a contract for this cooking class I'm doing. We can send that to you. Hey, I need to know, I need to help planning a menu. We'll all get on there and help you plan a menu. I need to know what marketing strategies you use because all of my business dried up. You can ask that, and people will just bombard you with that information. While I'm talking about this, if you guys are interested in signing up for eChef Club, Candace put the link in the chat section. And the cool thing about joining eChef Club is there is a bonus of a 30-minute strategy session right off the bat with me. I usually charge about $150 for that, but I'm actually including that as part of signing up for eChef Club today. It's 30-minute strategy. We're going to hammer through your business and find out exactly what you need and put a strategic, workable plan in place. It's just not going to be a bunch of mindset stuff, I promise you. And then I'm going to call you again about 90 days in it, and we're going to do it all over again because I want to check on you to find out what you're doing, how you're doing it, if you have any questions. But remember, we're going to be talking through the monthly office hours and also in the private Facebook group. The chef co-op is pretty cool. If you no longer have to struggle with planning menus. If you need to go in and get some new inspiration for your personal chef family menus, you can go in there. You need inspiration for a catering menu or a cooking class, you can go in there. All the chefs contribute. It's pretty cool. No more brain freeze over, there's only so many things I can do with broccoli. And you guys know what I'm talking about. The membership site, like I said, that membership site, you can grow an entire business and never talk to me just based upon what is in that membership site. There's contracts, there's calls, there's marketing strategies, there's all kinds of things in there. It is pretty cool. We spent months building it for you guys, and we just added access to that to eChef Club members so that you guys could be fully aware of everything that's in there. Again, if you go in the chat section, you guys can click on that link and get signed up for eChef Club, plus all those really cool bonuses. Just kind of an example of what's in the membership site, so you guys have a little bit better understanding of it. You'll see the chef co-op. You'll see resources, which again, you'll find contracts for commercial kitchens. You'll find all kinds of things in there, plus the expert teaching. Again, more resources on everything from branding to blogging to business foundations to if you're launching a product to how to improve your SEO and your website, even how to write a book and how to get more out of networking. Private Facebook group is pretty cool. We talked a little bit about that, and seriously, that is for serious business owners. You will get all of your questions answered. Like I said, join now and receive the 2 bonuses. You get the 30-minute strategy session with me initially to get you going, and then in 3 months, I'm going to check on you again make sure that you're meeting all your goals and you are moving forward. What is a strategy session? Like I said, it is all about you, your business, fixing the holes in it, putting a plan in place to grow it, and making sure that you get the most out of this program. That is what a strategy session is. You're no longer alone to figure it out all on your own. So if you guys will, again, if you're interested, I would love to talk to you guys. And if you think this will be helpful to you, then all you have to do is click on the link in the chat. I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. This will be recorded and sent back out to you guys. We're going to keep that link in the chat section active for about another 15 minutes after the phone call. But I want to turn back over to Candace real quick. Candace, do you have any questions that came through?
No, that's it.
Cool.
Thank
Okay.
you, guys.
Thank you guys so much for being on this call with me today and letting me, not seeing me, which sorry about, but you wouldn't want to see me right now because I've had fever all day. So, but we as entrepreneurs do what we have to do, and so we show up. Thank you guys so much for everything. I hope you have a great evening, and thank you for joining me. Bye, everybody.